Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a haul update. You may remember a few videos ago I did a haul. I had some Ulta items that I had recently purchased as well as some skincare products. And so I wanted to come back and share a full review on all of those products that I purchased because, of course, at the time I had just purchased those and I wasn't able, of course, to share a full review. But now that I've been able to adequately test out all the products that I mentioned in that video, I feel like I can provide a really solid opinion on all of them. And I thought that might be helpful to some of you who were curious about those products and wanted to hear more in-depth reviews of them. So let's go ahead and get into it. So actually the first product that I hauled was the Physicians Formula Insta Ready Concealer. I actually ended up returning that concealer, and I will explain why. So that concealer is, I've actually heard it compared to the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, which is known as a very full coverage concealer, and I kind of realized I did use it a couple of times, enough to kind of realize that it wasn't really for me. Because it's so full coverage, it's just not the kind of concealer I need. I don't really go for a full coverage look often at all. In fact, I almost never go for like that perfect full coverage look. And a lot of days I don't even wear foundation, so that concealer wouldn't really be appropriate for those days. And I found that other concealers are just better suited for my needs. Even though it was very full coverage, it still didn't cover my dark circles under my eyes completely, and I've pretty much come to the conclusion that no product is going to completely cover up my dark circles. There's always going to be some darkness underneath my eyes. That's just the way my facial structure works. So I kind of just realized that concealer wasn't really something I truly needed in my collection, and the other thing about it was that it did have SPF in it, which at first I thought that was a really good thing, but that's actually not really something I need in a concealer because I already wear SPF all over my face and I do put it under my eyes. And I didn't want, in case I was going to be having pictures taken of me, I didn't want that SPF to cause a photo flashback. So on those days where I don't wear SPF and I want to be ready for photos, that's just not the kind of concealer I would want for that. And I kind of would rather just have one concealer that I can wear for any occasion on any day. So anyway, that's the long story on why I returned that concealer. Moving on. So the next product I purchased from Ulta was the Curled Up Curling and Sculpting Mascara in the shade, what is that, Jet Black. I kind of took a risk with this concealer because I'd never heard anyone talk about it before, so it was either going to be really good or really bad or somewhere in between, and I had no idea what it was going to be like. And this mascara actually retails for $10.50, so a little bit pricey for the drugstore. I have been using this concealer for, or not concealer, I have been using this mascara for several years. Years, really? I have been using this mascara for several weeks now, and you know, it's not bad. Here's the deal. It makes my lashes look really long and really voluminous, which I like, so upon first applying it, I do really enjoy the look that it gives me. I also, so let's talk about the brush. The brush is actually pretty big. It's not the biggest one I've ever seen, but it's pretty big, and if that bothers you, if that's something that tends to be problematic for you, then you probably wouldn't like this mascara for that reason alone. I do kind of like that it's curved. It's a curved brush, and I feel like that does kind of facilitate like lifting my lashes a little bit, making them kind of stand up and curl a little bit more. I am not one who curls my lashes though. In fact, I never curl my eyelashes, not even for like a special occasion. So I can't really tell you whether this actually would hold a curl. That's just not something I can really speak about because I don't curl my lashes. My lashes already have a decent amount of curl to them, so I don't really know about that. It is marketed as a curling mascara, so if you are someone who does like to have your lashes curled, you probably want to test this out for yourself to see if it will hold a curl. I know that it doesn't like straighten out my lashes, but I've never really had a mascara do that, so I can't really speak about that. But the real deal breaker for me on this mascara is that throughout the day it does smudge a little bit and it does flake. Not a crazy amount, not so much that I can't work with it and use it, but that is enough of a problem for me to not really be able to fully recommend this and not want to repurchase it in the future. The next item I mentioned in my haul was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. And you probably know because I've been featuring this palette in a lot of videos lately that I do really like this palette. I've been getting a ton of use out of it. I used it, I was a bridesmaid and then a maid of honor in a couple weddings, and I used it for both of those. I think it's the perfect palette for fall weddings, and if you want to see how I used it for a fall wedding look, you can watch my fall wedding makeup get ready with me / tutorial. I will link that, but I just love this color selection. If you're not a fan of like reds and warm tones, then you probably would want to steer clear of this palette, obviously. But you can also do a really neutral look with this if you wanted to. So there's a lot you can do with it, and these shadows just blend amazingly. They're super pigmented, so with these deeper shades you have to be kind of careful because if you get too much on your brush it's just going to look crazy. The other thing I will say is that Primavera and Vermeer, these two light shimmery shades, one of them is like a shimmery gold and the other one is kind of more of a pinkish shimmery shade. I feel like those actually disappointed me a little bit because they aren't just quite as pigmented and quite as bright as I like for my shimmery shadows to be. But that's not enough to keep me from loving this palette as a whole because the matte shades especially are so pigmented, and everything in here is really easy to blend, really easy to work with, so it's just really such a top quality palette. I feel like it's worth every penny. So now let's talk about the skincare products that I mentioned in my haul. So this is kind of a skincare product and kind of just like a fun pampering type of product. It's the Ulta Beauty Cooling Aloe Vera Eye Masks. This is really fun to use. My one complaint is that it says that you're supposed to leave it on for, what does it say? You're supposed to allow it to set for 30 minutes, which I feel like that's kind of a long time. I think I left it on for like, I definitely left it on for at least 25 minutes. I didn't do the full 30 because I was just getting really impatient and I needed to start doing my makeup, but you don't have to leave it on for that long. I will say it definitely didn't do anything to like lessen the dark circles under my eyes, but nothing really does that, so I didn't expect it to. It really does feel cooling. It's kind of just a fun thing to do. I can't really tell using something like this just one time if it makes like a big difference for my skin, but it was really refreshing and kind of fun. So if you're looking to try something like this out, it's only like $3 at Ulta. The next thing that I mentioned was the Pacifica Kale Detox Deep Cleansing Face Wash. This is a pretty good face wash. It's, you know, with skincare, it's really hard to say, you know, which products are making a difference and which products aren't. Honestly, it's just a face wash for me, and it's gentle, it cleans my skin, and it doesn't do anything bad, so I like it. It had, like I mentioned in my haul, it has a really strong smell, and it's an interesting smell. It smells like a green smoothie, or like a green juice of some kind, which is it's kind of odd, but it doesn't bother me. It might bother some people. If you're sensitive to scents, you might not like this. I don't know if that scent is coming from like a particular fragrance that they add into this, or if it's just coming from the ingredients themselves. I tend to kind of steer clear of fragrance in my skincare products because it's not necessary, and if anything it can kind of irritate your skin. I don't find this irritating my skin, so it's fine. I really like the packaging. It kind of makes me happy just to use it. So, and it says that it's for oily and blemish-prone skin types. I can't really say if it's lessened any of my blemishes or breakouts. Actually, this time of year, I kind of have more combo skin. Actually, no, I would say that my skin right now is more like normal to dry. Now that it's getting kind of cooler outside, I'm getting like some dry skin around my nose, and not my nose, my mouth and chin, and the rest of my face is just kind of normal. A little bit oily in the T-zone, but so I don't know if this is going to be the best face wash for me to use in the winter. I may want to try something a little more hydrating, But for now, it's been really good. It hasn't irritated my skin, like I said, so I have no complaints about this one. The next product that I mentioned is a repurchased product. I've already talked about it a lot on my channel, so I'm not going to give like a full review on it, but it's the Paula's Choice Resist Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense. This is kind of really just a tinted moisturizer, and it actually keeps my skin looking matte all day. Or I don't want to say matte, because that kind of, sometimes it has a negative connotation, but it keeps my skin from getting oily, which I really appreciate. And ever since I've used this, I don't really feel like I have oily skin anymore. Again, now that it's kind of getting cooler outside, I might want to get a daytime moisturizer that's a little bit more hydrating, because I will say this is a moisturizer and SPF product, but it's not actually super moisturizing, if that makes any sense. So it is a product that I really, really like, especially in the summertime, but I'm feeling like now that my skin has gotten a little bit more dry, I may try to find something a little more hydrating, or at least like a day cream to kind of use in conjunction with this that is more moisturizing for those areas like around my mouth that get a little bit dry. So if you have oily skin, I would highly recommend this. It is a little pricey. It's like $33, but like all Paula's Choice products, I feel like it's worth every penny. So that's all I'll say about that. Last thing was another Paula's Choice product. This is their Clear Anti-Redness Exfoliating Solution. I think I mentioned this in my most recent favorites video. I know I mentioned it in some video recently. I love this, and I have absolutely noticed a difference with it. I know I was just saying, like, sometimes with skincare products you can't really tell whether it's making a difference or not, but with this, I definitely notice a very positive difference. It's a liquid, so I just will put some on a cotton round and just wipe it all over my face, let it kind of set, and then I'll follow that with my regular moisturizer. And when I use this regularly, my skin is just so even looking, at least compared to what it used to be, and I really don't have any breakouts. I know that's something I never would have said like a few months ago before I was using this, but I have been pretty much breakout free since using this, and I feel like it makes my skin so much more even and just nice looking. So I love this. If you have, like this says, blemish prone skin, I would highly recommend it. This is $27. Again, Paula's Choice products are a little pricey because they're just amazing products. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's a chemical exfoliant, which basically means it has salicylic acid in it. So there's two kinds of exfoliants. There are physical exfoliants and chemical exfoliants. Physical exfoliants are like the scrubs that you might know. They tend to have like grains or beads in them that kind of physically slough off the dead skin cells. This is a chemical exfoliant, so it's just a liquid. It has 2% salicylic acid in it. I don't exactly know how it works, but I think it just kind of removes that top layer of dead skin cells, and it just does an amazing job. It sounds like it would irritate your skin, but it really doesn't. So anyway, that's that. I love this product. I highly recommend it, and I'm really glad that I finally splurged on it because it's really good, and it's definitely something that I'll continue to purchase once it runs out. So those are all the products that I mentioned in my most recent haul video. I hope you found this helpful. I thought this would be a good way to kind of share my final thoughts on these products, so that you can know for sure whether or not I would recommend them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!